When is the last time you've been on social media that has given positive information on how to make a relationship work, especially between black men and black women? Most of the information you see on social media tend to be very negative, especially when it comes to dating. Black men are always bashing black women. Black women are always bashing black men. If a black man wants to be with me, he has to meet these requirements. If a black woman wants to be with me, she has to meet these requirements. There's never any information on how black men and black women can actually get along. It's very competitive in nature. It's almost like a gender war. But really, the gender war is an illusion because men and women are not designed to compete with each other anyway in the first place. It goes against our survival. If men and women are constantly competing against each other, we probably would have gone extinct a long time ago. Everything is very transactional in nature with these channels, these relationship or dating coaches or whatever you want to call them. The problem is you're going to get older. You're getting older at the moment. The clock is ticking now. You're getting older. You're older now than you were 5 seconds ago. And this whole competitive nature or this very transactional nature that people have when it comes to relationships, it's not going to last a long time, or it's not going to do you well in the long term, because you're going to get to an age where you're not going to really have a whole lot of leverage in a transactional relationship. You're going to be old. You're not going to look the same as you did when you were 20 years ago. Your sexual performance is not going to be the same. You're going to have a lot more health issues, more baggage, more life experience is good, but sometimes life experiences comes with scars and bruises. So I think that we need to focus more on how to actually get along with each other and make a relationship work, rather than focus on what you can get out of a person. The majority of these people on these platforms who are teaching this transactional relationship type stuff, a lot of them are single. A lot of them don't have a man or a woman in their lives. A lot of them spend a lot of time on social media complaining and ranting about the opposite sex. You know why? Because they don't have anyone for themselves. They don't even have a man or a woman in their life to even rant about. You ever wonder why they're so mad all the time? Because they don't have a relationship. They probably haven't been intimate in years. That's why they're so frustrated all the time. They got so much to say. They can sit on live stream for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, just ranting constantly about the opposite sex, or opposite gender, I should say. Anyone who has any relationship skills or anyone who is successful in that area doesn't have time to sit online for 2 to 3 hours ranting about the opposite gender, especially post 1 to 2 videos a day about it, about the opposite gender, complaining. So you have to be very careful of the type of content, the type of information or energy that you feed yourself, because a lot of this energy that these people are putting out is very negative. It's going to keep you single for a long time. It's not really very practical, the stuff they're teaching you. Only a very small percentage of people are making a lot of money. They're teaching you to have this attitude where a man has to be a CEO of a company to be worth dating. But only a small percentage of people are even CEOs. And just because you're not a CEO doesn't necessarily mean that you're not successful. You can be an employee and do very well for yourself. You can be self employed, just working for yourself, and do well for yourself. They have this attitude like you have to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. But Fortune 500 means that, or Fortune 500 company is referring to the top 500 companies in America, which means there's only 500 CEOs of those companies. And not all of them are men. Some of them are women, and many of them are married majority of the time. So the chances of you even getting with a person who is a CEO of a big Fortune 500 company is less than 0.01% if you do the math, if you compare 500 to the rest of the population. So the stuff you're being taught is not practical anyway. And most of the people who spend a lot of time watching those kind of videos are probably single themselves. And that's probably what's keeping you single. The amount of time that you spend on social media feeding yourself this negative energy is energy you can be spending out actually dating and getting to know someone. Someone who is decent, someone who may not make 6 figures a year, someone who may not be a CEO. I think when it comes to dating, you need to really start looking for someone who is good for you and not someone who you can brag about to your friends. I think that's a problem. Many people, especially women, from what I see, they go out looking for a man who their friends approve, their single friends at that. You're going out dating, trying to find a man that you can brag about and be proud of in front of your friends who are single, who don't have a man themselves. If they had a man, they probably wouldn't be so worried about who you're dating anyway. So this gender war, in my personal opinion, is a complete waste of time. It's very silly. I think people take it way too seriously. You know, the gender war used to be just something that was a joke. You know, when you make jokes about men versus women, it was always just a joke. It was nothing serious about it. I remember these times. I remember it was a time when it was just something to laugh at. But people started taking it seriously, where the women start going out and getting an education so they can be able to challenge men. And to me, that shouldn't be the purpose of going to school and getting an education. You do it to better yourself, not so you can challenge your men. Challenging your men and going to war with them is very counterproductive, in my personal opinion. It's not the right type of attitude you want to have if you want to build a successful household and a successful legacy. If you want to raise children in a 2-parent household, the parents cannot always be bumping heads all the time. Somebody has to be the head, somebody has to be the tail, and that's just the way it works. And being the tail is not always a bad thing. It's okay to be the tail. It's okay to follow behind someone else's leadership, as long as they know what they're doing and they are heading you and the family in the right direction. You know, as long as the head is leading everyone into the right direction, then there shouldn't be an issue being the tail. The tail is just as important as all the other body parts. You know, the tail provides a lot of balance to the body. That's why if you ever cut off a cat's tail or some animal's tail, they walk very funny. They have a hard time balancing because that's what the tail does. The tail provides a lot of balance. So I guess that's all I wanted to say. I didn't want to make this video too long. Just a short video, just kind of speaking about something that's been on my mind. I'm going on these channels and I'm seeing just constant negative energy, and nobody is giving advice on how to actually get along with each other. So that's what pretty much cued me to make this video.